Okay, one last one today. This will be 70. We're gonna look at some lava stuff. I was like, what if I just Google lava flow or YouTube lava flow? And then specifically, I put Iceland because I feel like it probably has the biggest representations of lava flows. So I haven't really gone through this. I also, let's just watch this one. This is from National Geographic, hopefully. If it if it has talking over top it, I might not. Or maybe I could just turn it down off. If it has the sounds of essentially I want to think about the Deccan traps and their flows. So before we watch any of this stuff, it would probably be good to real quickly go back to the Deccan traps and their flows. So again, I guess not this one. Where is it? Here we go, here we go. That's right, it's... Okay. So essentially, in short, when Dwarka was attacked by a vortex weapon, it punctured the mantle, which caused... It's just, I know it's ridiculous for anyone who's just like seeing just this video. It's like, what what? Okay, so yeah. Anyway, I'll assume that people watching this generally have seen previous videos because I got a lot of content, so the likelihood of this one being like the one that someone's watching, anyway, for the first time, exposure to my research is highly unlikely. Okay, so the storm goes in here, punctures the mantle though, when it's over here. It kind of sits here for a while, punctures the mantle, feeds the mantle energetically down westward and eastward under the crust though, beneath the continental shelf. And then as it does that, it just continues to do it until finally it moves over here, where then it energetically the mantle flowed to the storm. It seems like it actually went to the storm, and then the storm distributed it 180 degrees from the storm east and west, or north and south, maybe. I'm not completely sure, but 180 degrees essentially. And then it flowed under the continental crust. Okay, but then over here it brought the mantle again to it, and it sent it not east and west, but instead at a 90-degree angle when it was here. One under the terrain of the continental crust here into India, which did not show any Deccan traps, but it produced terrain on the east side of India. And also some Deccan traps flowed out here, but it's because there was a flow at a 90-degree angle from that one that went on top of the surface that then like came out of this crack, I believe. This opening that formed that just generally allowed for the current to be directed by the storm, and then the storm though put it out at a 90-degree angle from this. So right out across here, which then led to the mound here. So let's get a little further into Gujarat here. So once it passed the point where it reaches into the Deccan traps, that's really what we want to, what we're looking at here is the lava flows with respect to this. So that initially, this is like the end result here that I mapped. But really, this one I keep referring to, I think this is like essentially what happened is the storm was here. it sent generally a basaltic current this way that then built a mound here, and in so doing caused essentially an increasing slope, causing a resistance backward in the basaltic current that then led to the currents being redirected, deflected currents to the side of this resistance due to the built up accumulation of mass from the current over here that is backstopped by a boundary of the polygon, which is actually not where I labeled it. Since then, I've realized it's actually this inner, like, parallel one that was inward, but then the current that came this way actually went along the sides and wrapped around, creating a additional segment here, kind of creating just a tiny bit of new crust along this segment, I believe. But generally speaking, it went to the polygonal boundary and then deflected, and then the storm moved. At this point, the basalt, though, is generally being shaped like this. So there's like a mound over here that kind of peaks near the polygonal boundary. And then just generally two paths branching off in this region, just generally getting a current just because there's space here that's getting filled. So it's generally getting over there, but it's not like as direct. So it's just sort of like this. And then the storm moves because the current from the storm is deflecting off of this mass over here, and energetically that makes its position like most optimally in line with that, so it just moves rapidly over to here where it just sits there and sends a current and causes eddies here, which then create differentiation in the types of the geological structures. Like here is a rhyolite structure with a ring of granophyre called Alec Hills. This is like a triangular structure of Barda Hills that's made of granophyre. Down here is the Gur National Park made of a basaltic mound that's there. It's in about this boundary. Gurnar is made of basalt, a hexagon of basalt with an inner hexagon of olivine gabbro, ringed by granophyre with an inside the olivine gabbro with a triangle of monzonite diorite with a ring itself of basalt, and just a cool structure. But that wasn't there yet. Like at this period, it was really just a current cutting across that was hitting the boundary and just essentially going sideways and producing currents those ways that then started to flow and just produce this like boundary current that ended up having enough current to just build the terrain. But still at this point when the storm is here, that like in the same way as back here, it's really just a mound accumulating over here and generally sloping towards the storm, maybe with a bit of an elevation here, like a bubble, but generally speaking, sloping downward, so causing that. But then in the same way, Gurnar is just, there's just still like a resistance, but because this current is hitting this wall, it deflects back into this region here, which then begins to angle, essentially open up a void, a space here, like a node for the subsequent energy when the storm moves over here to discharge into, which it then does. And along the way, it produces these like currents inward, but then they meet the resistance of this and produce this boundary here, and then it produces some plutonic complexes here, similar to this type of thing going on. Just a couple over here, and then it moves down here and discharges and does the same down here with plutonic complexes. And so, with those things in mind, imagine here's the storm, right? Here's the current coming off the storm. Now we're seeing some interesting things already. That bubble right there. Let's go to my tabs. This is like a inward projection of a bubble, and I mean, it looks like they're just all along the coast, just all along this. So something of that nature, seeing it here where it even physically produces like a difference in the structure. I'd have to watch it enough to keep seeing things about it. Okay, this is interesting. Kill away the fire within. Page Films. This kind of thing, I've talked about this a lot, where there's a current flowing, and then it just generally pushes mounds to the side. And those mounds, I mean, it's still made of what the current's made of. Like, we can see it's hot, but it's starting to, like, slow down and just sit there and cool off and become more like its final structure. We just see it forming polygons. It has like a single thread come out, and then it balloons. There's so much potential in really like refining, bringing more precision to exactly what was going on by really watching lava. Because it's all fractal, we can get an idea from this. Like, let's go back right here. And notice it's kind of hanging out. It's not like abruptly erupt. It's not slowly emitting that like side thing. Boom. It just like breaks through and spills down. It does the same where it breaks through and spills down. It's just like cascading amounts though, just a little bit smaller. Down in case it's too loud. Pardon me. All the like basins. Closer. I mean, maybe there's something there, but it'd be nice to have been closer. Much as I like seeing just scenery, I really would like to see like this area. That makes a lot of sense for why there'd be like depressions and like hot spots. Like it's just outgassing, creating like an actual reduction. Wow, the way that so cool. Oh my god. Look at these polygons just forming. Hold the phone. We got to slow it down for that one. Even notice all the little specks, like little spots that are just a little hotter, burning a little brighter. Like there's like the Orion belt there. Kind of see the way that why I wanted to see this real slow is the way to see like the way currents are flowing here, what is happening. Like this one's got to sort of like flow in where this one's very much just like not changing. It's almost like it's slow. This one's a little higher than this one, and so it's almost like a waterfall. At the boundary, when I say it's almost like a waterfall and realize that it really is almost like a waterfall is happening there. And then, boom, wow, what? Let's look at this. It looks very much like it's already got a sort of circular structure to it. Let's go back. It's almost like we just witnessed a supernova. I didn't realize it was about to happen, but oh, look at it opening. I wish I could slow it even more. Okay, so it's pretty much just hanging out. It starts to split in this region into like a two halves that are like an X or figure eight even. There's particles that are moving slowly outward too, maybe. Now it really starts to split. It's forming more and more of like a yin yang shape. Boom. And it opened up like a yin yang with a bubble, like as an eyeball kind of looking thing. And then it leaves behind sorry. Sorry, Pops. Okay, so now this we can see the elevation difference in this. And so based on that and here, like this one looks lower, so like this is flowing in, this is flowing in. I guess actually this is flowing in that way too. We can kind of just see which way the currents are flowing. This is probably pretty even. Right there, it's got a pretty distinct yin yang with subtle, the subtle one. Wait, did this one go off simultaneously? Thereabouts? Like right there? It did. Kind of like Chicxulub and Nader Crater, where the bonds between the layers break. It's like a bond breaking. We see like it's a single layer. Oh my god. But it's really two overlapping currents that are like relatively uniform enough. Like over here, they've merged to be like essentially one current. Over here, they're one current. But over here, they're really two currents that are starting to separate and into like a yin yang. I keep, it's hard to tell where it is. Sorry. So we barely see it separate here. Although we do see, oh, maybe, interesting. Maybe, what's the word I'm looking for? Some amplitude to the wave. Like it's kind of spiky. Maybe right there, or one of them is. Then it just starts to separate. All these particles around the edge. Hot spots around the edge, not as many in the middle. They really are. It's like city lights. And then boom. And then the bond is broken. And we just have a crater. In one of its varieties, at least. I guess I can speed this up. Well, no, it's real good. This is real good. I'm not sure what I'm looking at there. It's a little too close. It just looks crystalline. Something like growing is one, and then it stops growing. And then it has two P. I wonder if there's this kind of thing in the region of southern Sarastra where it was running into the polygonal boundary, where it just splashed back in a way that's like got some kind of weird thing, like almost like a some kind of impact expelled particle, like a tektite, but not tektite, but something of that nature that like is near the Sarastra southern border. Oh my god. Okay, let's speed this up because I have so many lava videos. Unless I find something I really feel like that it's two polygons have like wave boundaries that like when they are resonant with one another, they're like a stable boundary. But when they're like out of resonance, there's tend to be like bonds breaking and novas. Whew, it moves so fast. So imagine a storm, like a storm over top that's directing it, but it's just with a ridiculous current of it. Oh my god. This really, with a current over top it, directing it to really give it like a defined lightning strike kind of appearance, like I could see it happening with this kind of flows. Okay, okay. Thanks, guys. Next. Okay. These are like. This one's real good. Pardon me, sir. This is from Underworld. 5 most incredible lava flow videos. This one I found really useful to see because it folds. I mentioned the concept of like it's probably kind of like behaving like it has wheels. So it's like turning in a manner where the Wanda Fuca plate, when the current of let me pull it up so I'm not just being confusing. Essentially, when this current coming down here ran into the resistance of the pressure on the other side, but it overlaid it to a degree. I was I was suggesting that because there's a current involved that's flowing here, creating that when the Wanda Fuca plate is being moved underneath this region, it's because this region is behaving like it has wheels and just like a conveyor belt, kind of just pulling this slab underneath it to a degree where it's detectable as we see it. And so this is really interesting to see because it's physically rolling. It'll just flip over. So we can kind of see it doing here. It's going to do it a lot more though. Yeah, this one, this flow right here. It's just rolling at the front. I don't want to mouse over it. Also, it's at the front. Maybe it's got a triangle. I'm not sure if that's just rolling, physically just rolling, roll, and then roll, roll, roll. Thanks, whoever's there recording this, because it looks kind of frightening coming downhill, seemingly. He probably has a really good camera lens. He's like right next to it. Wait, let's go back here. It's interesting that this like has it's separated into two currents that then go around this kind of chunk. and it's rolling over. Let's just go here. Oh. This one's interesting, seeing the ripples go through it. Maybe we'll watch this one real slow. I will, at least. I guess we will. Pardon me. I don't want to say I when I should say we, kind of thing. Ripples. I'm just looking at it to see if there's anything of interest, though. Nothing like especially making me think of anything in particular. Well, maybe just looking at the shapes. This looks kind of dendrite-y. Where like over here it looks more shallogrammy. If anything, I don't know what to think of it. I'm just kind of looking at it and saying some words right now. But that does look really dendrite-like. And it has a channel and another channel. It's flowing this way, which is how ammonites form. Maybe this is ammonite-like. I don't know if it has enough currents. It would need multiple currents into it. Although maybe just the fact that it's a swirl. Like it looks like it comes in this way and maybe... Or is it going out that way too? And just erupting here. Just straight erupting here. Okay. I was a little wishful thinking that it was coming in this way and creating a vortex type thing there somehow. Sometimes I understand why people don't talk to me, but like people should probably get over that kind of thing and like realize I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. And pretty useful participant in the process, one might say. There's again that dendrite thing going on. That really does shed light into how the dendrites would form in this kind of manner. Oh yeah, this. Okay, first of all. So it's like molten. It's just molten hot material. It's not just like material that's hitting the sides. It's molten hot material in like an ammonite or shallogram when it has a dendrite type feature, because that's what's going on here. There's a current flowing into it. So cool. And it's just swirl. I mean, this is a vortex type thing going on that is then producing like a circle in one of these, the crater type features. It really is just doing that. That's incredible. Where is that? That is one of the 5 most incredible lava flows videos. Oh my god, where is... I'll have to see if he references. Oh, it just falls in. The little dendrite piece falls in. Vortex. Current heat rising current, a current of heat rising plus a current equals possibility of a like a channeled rising heat that like produces a tornado, a whirlwind in the lava flow. Really just demonstrating that that kind of thing does happen, can happen, does happen, and guaranteed can happen on a larger scale underground where there's vortices of the magma that are just spraying material outward, that over time, like if it just kept doing this, it would just build a mound generally at like the greatest distance it can send this material just continuously and create like a sort of ring around it, and maybe multi-ring structure depending on like what type of material. Like if it's iron, it can only throw, like I can only throw the if it's iron, it can only throw it so far, but if it's like something lighter, it can throw it further. This looks dangerous. That's one of the things with these videos. They look really dangerous a lot of times. It's like, dudes, I saw people standing somewhere like this in one video. I'm like you guys, there's literally lava splashing down next to them. They don't move. Like, wow. Okay. It stopped though. But an intense enough one. Up there it is again. Not sure. That might have been a different one. And it might have been in where a bond's breaking. Like, that's how a bond breaks. It's just, it isn't a channel, really, in which the underlying current can break through the surface. Like, a channel. And then it just bursts. Like a hose when you hold your finger over it, so the current is much more powerful. There's this tiny opening and this large quantity of heat that just rises through it, and just because of the cross current probably is caused to especially swirl in instances like this. Which leads to the just larger structure, like over here is pretty much doing that and building mounds around it. Presumably this is I don't know, this might have been like, it's probably building it though. It's probably literally just building this because it's been going on so long here. This was just, compared to that one, this is just a way bigger opening in like an even larger like region of heat wanting to come out. That's just, to that amount of heat is like, this is a tiny hole for it to come out. So it's just like just spraying, but not really stopping, being way more powerful. This is probably, I don't know. I was gonna say in the region where the storm directed the basalt from, that it maybe was kind of doing that, but the storm perhaps redistributed it, so maybe not. Or because there's really no features in that region, it's just way depressed. Like it was emitting, but it wasn't compiling because it was being redistributed away from the location. So there weren't really decking traps there, but the emissions were there. So it was almost like a storm was on top of us, taking all this current before it could solidify where it was and just moving it away. Okay. 10 hours of just lava flows. Oh my god, how fantastic is this? This is just like under Alaska. Right here. With this side one. Or very similar enough to like kind of observe it. Although this one looks like it may not in any way merge, or not very much. Maybe it's crossing though, kind of vibrating in a much longer wavelength than the other ones that showed the. Oh my god, this is just incredible. I wonder why that's the most played. Alright, so this one's a little too far to make out all that much. At least nothing that's popping out of my head. Feel free to point anything out that you guys see that I'm not seeing, please. That's regarding this stuff, I mean. That looks kind of like a shallogram. Like sideways, one of the balls. Oh my god. Oh my god. What are you guys doing? They must be significantly safer than it looks kind of distance, but it's still. Like, it's just rolling out. Like, dude, it's coming towards us. Like, that's fuck. That's. This is probably not generally though how it flowed into Sarastra, but way more rapid and intense, but also like a flow, so it wasn't really solidifying as much as it would if it was moving slower. Oh my god, dudes, everyone just like hugging. They're like, what are they, getting married? Did he just propose? I don't know what's going on here. Oh my god. Taking pictures. Lava's coming up on us, guys. Oh my god. It must go down this way and just like undoubtedly not come up this hill. But like, holy crap. This is insane. This is. Then. We just start hearing the wind. It physically flows in a layer here to the point where it hides that like mound that was there. Oh my dear god, that's insane. And this is like nothing next to what happened. The mound emerges out from under the flows. Has like new divots over here and here were formed, it looks like, probably. Oh my god, and then it's just done, relatively speaking. Holy fucking sh... I can't... Is that still them standing there? It's about to, like, erupt violently again. Oh no. Oh dear God, that looks way too close, dudes. Just... so much trust that it's not gonna just fuck. Look at it. Oh my God, how close are they to that? Oh my God. I can't believe people get this close to volcanoes. I'm like a volcano. People stay free from me. They're like, keep their distance, all those toxic fumes around me. Suffocate you with my fumes. Maybe. Oh, it's hot. Oh dear God. Okay. Let's turn this down though. Okay, well. Okay, let's go to this one. There's someone over here. There's always someone in the picture.
Yeah, because I was gonna say they didn't because they're over there. That's why I was like saying before.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
I guess they just know, like, there's not been a lava flow on this mountain for how many years, and there's many lava flows here, and blah blah blah, kind of thing. It's like depositing stuff, it could change the flow patterns. Not that it would in this instance, but freaking, oh my
It's
God.
darker, so you can like see all of it. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. What? It's the most intense.
Just runs down it. Oh. And it kind of still congeals. It's like butter. In some way. Wax. Something that's like quickly solidifies and starts to be much more stringy, and then it really does kind of bring that dendrite type thing out in those instances.
Yeah. I don't have like one of those like.
This is the same place that had all those people watching with the mound. So it just kind of pours down to here, and pours down there, and pours down there, down to here. Oh my God. This is reminiscent of the mounds around Mount Grenard. These little things. It's like when the granite raised, it kind of pushed a basaltic lava flow out that kind of just arced out in a similar way to this. Seems reasonable to me. Or it just flowed, but it generally flowed probably as a lava due to the uprising of, like, maybe the building up of some kind of mounds. Like this block in the middle there. That is getting reshaped and reshaped. Cool to see. Okay. What else we got? An hour of lava flows. Ooh, it's all over the place too. This is too much for me to watch right now. That was interesting though, like the way... Let's go back there. The streams are pretty narrow. There's generally a bunch of streams going together, but they're pretty narrow, and they've got these elongated chunks forming between them. This right here reminds me of like this kind of thing. Maybe I shouldn't have closed it yet. Not quite, but I'm sure there's more appropriate looking rocks. It's definitely got similarity, it's just I'm not sure that the same features are visible in this very well. That rock. Looking over at it. Two exit points, one of them low, one of them high. Building up a mound. Okay, this is an hour. I could watch this for the whole time. This one's another one. Another documentary. I'll watch that another time, probably. Let's go to lava tornadoes. I watched that one. Let's see. Oh, that's just this. Guess this is the video we already saw. I'm gonna check that one. Is there someone in there? Okay. Just, I think the most exciting thing of all the lava flows I saw. Oh, did you guys catch that? Right here. Here, I'm not sure where. This is rotating. A rotating segment has kind of a divide to it forming. Also, it's kind of circular. That too. Okay, so it's that one that I was looking at. Down here. It physically rotates, and as it rotates, it even has these little like teeth form like a galaxy, like a gear. Bunch of polygonal boundaries. Where? There it is. But this, where the vibrational resonances of the adjacent polygons. Pretty exciting concept. Let's go find the actual segment. Alright, guys. Yeah, cool. Really, it was too fast. Again, it's too fast. Okay, we're going out this time with the wavelengths vibrating out of resonance to supernova in 3, 2, 1, boom. Oh, and that was it. That was it's supernova. On another scale. Oh, another one over here. Ooh, that one is kind of interesting. Maybe let's check out that one. It just like sliced it. It was rapid even just as is, but it did start to do something before. Like the... Oh, there it is. Not even looking in the right spot. It really doesn't do that, like, severing of the wavelengths that this did. That one just does it so well. Like, it must happen. I'm just like, does it even happen then? It must happen. And that kind of showed that shape there. It's probably significant. Like, when it bubbles up, it produces a shape because it like goes up to a certain distance, but then it kind of just flops back down, and but then the shape sort of remains. So that's probably a common shape. There's that galaxy. All right. Nice. Another video that I feel pretty good about. So I don't feel too bad about the spam videos. All right. See you later. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for everything. And sorry about me, but see you soon.